Today we're making an easy Christmas fruitcake packed with dried fruits, nuts, rum, and all the festive flavors you love. Hi, I'm Wendy, and you're with Wendy and Shannon. If you think making a Christmas fruitcake is complicated, sit back, relax, and keep watching. Now let's get started. So we're going to start with 800 grams of dried fruits. That's 200 grams of sultanas, 200 grams of raisins, and 200 grams of blackcurrants. And we're also going to add 100 grams of prunes and 100 grams of dates, which I've de-seeded and chopped. Now we're going to pour over 150 ml of rum, but you could also go in with brandy or orange juice if you liked. And now we're going to give this a good mix till all the fruit have got coated with the alcohol. We're going to cover up the bowl with a plastic wrap, and we're going to keep it aside for at least 24 hours so that the fruits get a chance to absorb the alcohol. In a big bowl or in your stand mixer, you're going to add 225 grams of room temperature unsalted butter. And into that, you're going to toss 225 grams of dark brown sugar. And this is going to add to the flavor of the cake. Now we're going to beat them together for about 5 minutes, scraping down the bowl once between that time. And we're going to beat it till it turns pale and fluffy. Now for a depth of flavor and color, we're going to add in 1.5 tablespoons of molasses. This is going to give the cake a gorgeous deep color and rich flavor. And we're going to beat it all together for another 30 seconds. Now for a warm flavor to the cake, we're going to add in our homemade allspice. So in our mortar pestle, we're going to blend together 2 inches of cinnamon sticks, about 12 peppercorns, and 1/8 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. And first we're going to pound it down and then grind it up together till we have a fine powder. In this bowl, I've got 225 grams of all-purpose flour, and we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of allspice to it. And we're going to just whisk it together so that it gets well blended. With our mix on a low speed, we're going to add 4 large eggs and 1 egg yolk to the butter and sugar mixture. And we're going to add them one at a time and beat them till just incorporated before adding the next one. For an added flavor, I like to add in 2 teaspoons of a pure vanilla extract. And we're just going to mix it up for about 2 seconds. Now with our mixer on stir, we're going to add the flour mixture 1 tablespoon at a time. And we're going to mix it till just incorporated. Remember to stop and scrape down the bowl of the mixer once or twice between mixing. Now for a nutty moist crumb, I like to add in 50 grams of almond flour. And we're going to mix this just a little bit. You do not want to overmix this because we want a dense cake, but we also want a tender cake. I had already soaked the fruits the night before. And look how plump and juicy they are looking. They have absorbed all that rum that I had poured over it. For a fresh citrus flavor, we're going to add in the zest of 2 oranges. And you're going to zest only the top of the orange without getting the underneath layer. And we're also going to zest 1 lemon. Once again, we're going to zest only the top layer of the lemon. And for that traditional festive fruitcake flavor, we're going to add in 100 grams of glacier cherries and 100 grams of mixed peels. And for a little crunch, we're going to add in 50 grams of lightly toasted and chopped walnuts and 50 grams of blanched, lightly toasted chopped almonds. Now let's give it all a mix till it gets well combined. And look at that festive goodness. Now with our mix on stir, we're going to add the fruit into the cake batter in 2 additions. And we're going to mix it till it's just about blended. We're going to finish mixing it by hand. Now is a good time to preheat your oven to 280 degrees Fahrenheit or 140 degrees Celsius. And let's prep the cake pan. Now you're going to take a deep 8 by 3 inch or 4 inch cake pan. And you're going to brush it with melted butter all around and at the bottom. And now we're going to line it with a double layer of parchment paper. And I've clipped it at the bottom so that the paper gets a chance to take the shape of the cake pan. Now at the bottom, we're going to place 2 parchment papers which I've cut into circles. Now, since this cake is going to be in the oven for a long time, we're going to insulate the pan by wrapping a double parchment paper around it. And then you're going to use a kitchen twine to tie it and keep it together. Now with a spatula, we're going to give the cake mix one last mix, making sure that no batter is left behind at the bottom of the bowl. Now we're going to scoop out the cake batter and fill the prep cake pan. And once you have filled up the bottom, you're going to use the spatula to even it out before adding in the rest. Now with an offset spatula, you're going to even out the top and make sure that the cake batter is all leveled. Pro tip here to prevent the cake from burning on the top is to place a parchment paper on the top of the cake. Now we're going to take the cake pan, place it on a baking sheet, and then put it into the oven to bake. This cake is going to take approximately 3 hours or a little more. So after 3 hours, you're going to take a bamboo skewer and put it into the center of the cake. And if it comes out clean or a little crumb on it, you know that the cake is done. Now after about 15 to 20 minutes, when the cake has got a chance to cool down but is still warm, we're going to take the bamboo skewer and start poking holes into the cake before we pour on about 2 to 3 tablespoons of rum on the top. This rum is going to get absorbed by the cake like a sponge. And once the cake has cooled completely, you're going to take it out of the cake pan along with all the parchment paper. And then you're going to wrap it up with first the parchment paper, then some plastic wrap, and finally some aluminum foil. You want to preserve all that moisture that's in the cake and prevent it from drying up. Now this cake has to be made well before Christmas because we're going to be feeding this cake with 1 tablespoon of rum once every 2 weeks right until Christmas. Now this is going to help our Christmas cake to deepen in flavor and be the very best you have ever tasted. Oh my goodness! Look at that! And now it's time to give our Christmas fruitcake a taste. But before we do that, if you're new to our channel or haven't subscribed already, it's the season to show us some love. Go ahead, press that subscribe button, and while you're at it, smash that bell icon so that you're the first one to get notified every time we upload a new video. Now, let's give the fruitcake a taste. Wow. Just look at that. Studded with all that fruit. Oh, yum. Wow, this cake is so soft, buttery, rich, nutty, boozy, and I can go on, but it's loaded with a lot of love. And you've got to give this recipe a try. So hop onto our website withwendyandShannon.com because this cake is going to be the star at your Christmas table. And if you love this recipe, try out our other Christmas sweet recipes, the links of which will be left in the description box below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.